8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hey everybody, welcome to the MGF Podcast. This is episode 21 of the show with its temporary name, where we talk movies, shows, games, Lego, and whatever else. Joining me for this shorter episode today is Tait, as always.
What's up, guys? Hope
Yeah,
everybody's doing well.
How's it going, Tait? It's episode 21 already.
It is. Oh man, I can't believe how far we've come. I mean, it's pretty rad. Pretty rad, dude.
Yeah. And today's just kind of a chill day. A little slow on news this week to talk about, so we're just going to kind of cover the things that did come out regarding like the Obi-Wan show and some other stuff we've been thinking about, like Endgame progress in a second, and themes we miss out on, or that we missed out on or still miss and wish would come back today from Lego. And
wish with Lego would just renew the license. There's some
just
money that way. Something.
Limited run or something. Anyway,
to get started,
we'll get into all that. So, Tait, still working on those first two Endgame figures.
Hey,
oh man,
take your sweet time.
The problem is I've taken a lot of sweet time, and I need to wrap them up now. And I am coming up close. I did make a good amount of progress on the back of Iron Man, and can have that done pretty soon here. And just got to paint the backs of his legs really quick. And once those are done, paint those extra hands. And then once that is done, I have like a couple lights to paint on the back of the helmet, and that will finally do it for the Iron Man Mark 85. But I do have to get through all that, hoping to get through a good amount of it today. But also Cap, same deal. Just kind of have to paint a little bit of detail on the backs of his legs, back of his belt, detail on the remaining broken shield, and that Mjolnir detail, kind of in a similar place where we were last week. So not a whole lot has changed, but I was busy with quite a few errands this past week. But anyway, so with all that said, the showcase is still happening this month, which is very exciting, and I'm very much looking forward to it, hopefully very soon here. But
Ross has 12 days, so just give him his time. All right.
Are there only 12 days left in the month? Oh my god.
Yeah, but I mean, I think you're good, dude. I think you're fine.
That is crazy, though. Absolutely nuts.
Yeah, dude. This year's flying by.
I knew 2019 was going to be a weird year that just like completely flew. But what's up, Tim Sargent? What's up, Simon? Yellow Brick 15. Thanks for coming in. Collecting Bricks. How's it going? Yeah. So
moving on.
Obi-Wan finally apparently going to be a thing.
Okay.
This started creeping out on some sites. I forget who started reporting on it. Somebody started it out, and a lot of people were taking credit for it, so I'm not going to pretend like I know where it originated from. However, eventually it started to become more concrete because IGN started covering it, then Deadline, and some other major news outlets. So it's certainly this rumor, even though we've had it floating around since 2014 we first started hearing about this idea.
Yeah, dude, it's been crazy.
Of an Obi-Wan Solo movie, and then obviously the Han Solo movie did not work out, so Disney has shifted a lot of those ideas now into Disney Plus series, which I think is a perfect idea. And if this is actually happening now, and they're doing a Disney Plus series out of Obi-Wan instead of a, full-blown movie, I think that is the best way to go about it now. I mean, Tay, we've talked about this a little bit on the podcast. I think I've made my opinions on how they handled Maul's death pretty clear. I know you still prefer it you still largely think it was a really solid sequence.
I don't think it was. Now, Ross, I'm not saying it's the best way to get rid of Maul. I don't think it should have been in some random TV show. I don't think it's the worst like you do.
I mean,
I would have preferred in the Obi-Wan live action or in some sort of Obi-Wan movie for that interaction to kind of surround Obi-Wan as a character for a long period of time.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I don't think it was handled horribly. I do like it.
So, I think it was terrible for a variety of reasons. And I'll just kind of hit the bullet points. I don't want to rant or go crazy about this. But first of all, having Maul show up and conclude his story, this iconic figure in pop culture of 2 decades in season 3 of a kids Disney XD Star Wars show was ludicrous.
Yeah.
And then the counter argument is, oh, the Clone Wars is a kids show. No, it wasn't. It was a show for all ages. I cannot even stand that argument.
Clone Wars is more inclusive to its to a diverse audience than Rebels. I will admit that.
Yeah.
I do think Rebels aired more on the child and young audiences side.
Right.
But I also think that Rebels wasn't exclusively for kids. I think that
it was mostly for kids, though. I mean, if the Clone Wars was kind of like split across, a large spectrum of age ranges, I mean, Rebels was pretty much 60-70% geared toward kids.
I would agree with 60%.
Yeah. Now, that being said, even beyond the fact that it took place in, Star Wars Rebels Season 3, Episode 18, Twin Suns on Disney XD, the animation's terrible compared to the Clone Wars. They are working with a much smaller budget and different people. Rebels just doesn't look as good as the Clone Wars. It is, I mean, obviously debatable for some people, but to me, a fact.
All right, let's gear the conversation focus towards the Obi-Wan show.
I'm just adding little notes as I go.
Right. So the Obi-Wan show specifically.
You get to the scene though, and
oh god,
dude, no, it's just. I'm saying this because this is what would make an Obi-Wan series so exciting, is Maul's inclusion. That's why I think he's really important, because their rivalry, on top of all of his post-Revenge of the Sith trauma, is so important. But then you had Ezra forced in there. You had some very impersonal dialogue between Maul and Obi-Wan that really just wound up feeling very shallow. And then the lightsaber exchange was far too short. I don't care how you spin it. You didn't need spins or flips, but that was just too brief. So yeah, that's why I think this is the perfect opportunity, Disney Plus. Because if they want to keep Maul's death canon, if they want to keep that Rebels ending for his character, having Obi-Wan on Tatooine and whatever adventures he's doing outside of Maul in this time after Revenge of the Sith, I think is the best course of action for the character, because I always bring up Maul because he was the next most exciting thing to happen to him after Revenge of the Sith and prior to A New Hope. I mean, that was largely the greatest threat that he probably faced in those years.
So Ross,
leading up,
I do want to say there are rumors that the show is going to focus on a young Obi-Wan.
Oh, what, like pre-Phantom Menace?
Yep. Well, in between Phantom Menace and Episode 2 was my assumption.
I hope they're ready to bust out the de-aging tracking dots in that case. I mean, if that's the case,
that they absolutely would do that if that were the case. Ross, I really don't like that idea, man. I really don't.
No, neither do I, because then you also have to get Liam Neeson, and then he would have to be de-aged.
No, it's in between 1 and 2. No.
In between. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
For some reason I was thinking pre-Phantom Menace.
No. So it would be. So that's the rumor.
There's actually a lot of ground to cover pre-Phantom Menace.
Yeah, dude. I mean, there's a good 10 years?
Yeah.
8 years,
the book
something
only,
like that.
Apparently the book, which I still have yet to listen to, only does a small portion.
Yeah. There's a lot to talk about, but it's a very slow time, right? Because it's pre-Clone Wars. It's pre all the Anakin stuff.
Yeah, no, that's awful.
But at the same time, what is there post Revenge of the Sith to talk about? You can,
Right, so they would just have to come up with something out of the rest. They'd have to basically just come up with a new character, and then a lot of people are saying that maybe Obi-Wan wasn't as strict as we always believed, and that he did leave Tatooine at some point.
Yeah.
Even if it was brief.
They would pretty much have to do that. But I feel like that would really hurt the character, though. You know what I mean? Because his entire purpose.
I firmly believe that this is, doing little small scale stories on Disney Plus or animated shows is great. Not for movies, but on Disney Plus and the animated shows. So if they want to do 6 to 8 episodes of Obi-Wan learning to become a Force ghost, communicating with Qui-Gon and Yoda, and dealing with Tusken Raiders and bandits and bounty hunters protecting Luke, you can get 6 episodes of that.
That's
fine.
To be, man.
But that's not a movie, which is why this is great on Disney Plus.
This is going to explore the more... I assume this is going to explore the more intricate parts of what it means to be a Force user. as opposed to being an all-out war movie, and Star Wars
Yeah,
movies
because
are war movies.
we never actually really get to see the training that Qui-Gon received, and we only get a hint of it when Yoda encounters the Force priestesses, and then we just apparently know that Obi-Wan received the same training from Qui-Gon as he communicated with him over the years leading up to A New Hope. But it's like, what does this training actually look like? I would love to find out.
Can we appreciate for a second just how badass Qui-Gon is as a Jedi? I mean, he says, "Hey, imagine not dying after death," and everybody's like, "What? Hello?"
And just, hey, imagine loosely being the loosely following the Jedi teachings.
Right, exactly. Loosely following the Jedi teachings and becoming the most powerful Jedi of all time. I mean, now this is a controversial statement, but I think Qui-Gon is the most powerful Jedi of all time because of the fact that he is the first one to unlock this whole life after death.
I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, I can.
No.
I mean, I would say he was certainly the most. He was the Jedi pioneer, right? He was the first Jedi to break down walls, to break down boundaries, and explore the Force.
But see,
to be able to encounter those priestesses, to be able to unlock that power, that ability.
Here's the thing.
I wouldn't say that makes him powerful, just
but here's the
more
thing,
curious and more.
Powerful doesn't need to mean might in combat or affinity with the Force. I mean, it doesn't. It needs to mean affinity with the Force. It doesn't need to.
Well, I mean, if you're talking spiritually, sure, I can meet you there. But I mean, as far as just capability.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing: combat prowess and powerful don't have to be the same word. They don't have to be exclusive to one another, right?
Right. Well, when you say powerful, I just think of like who.
And that's the main assumption. You know what I mean? Right. Powerful, that would have to be Yoda or Mace Windu in that sense. But here's the thing. I mean, power comes with longevity, right? I mean, that's why humans are such a powerful species, is because we've been able to evolve and advance past our neighboring species, right? So when you look at it from that sense, if Qui-Gon is the first one to be able to unlock immortality, essentially, then you can't really argue against the fact that he's the most powerful.
Yeah, I mean, it was a major turning point for the Jedi and wound up being instrumental in the Jedi's survival through Luke.
Yeah.
Because they were able to communicate with him so directly.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, entertaining the idea that they do bring Maul back, because there are some rumors floating around with this that Ray Park will be coming back as Maul for this show. And if you look at it in the context of what they did in Rebels, when Maul encounters Obi-Wan again and finds out that he is alive, he just says he lives, and he's very surprised. He at no point implies how much time has passed since he last saw Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
He says he lives, and he's very surprised. So that could mean he encountered him a year ago. A few years ago. It does not mean that the last time he saw Obi-Wan was sometime during the Clone Wars. He could have encountered Obi-Wan yet again. Maybe a couple more times after Revenge of the Sith.
I subscribe to the belief that there will be some sort of interaction between Darth Maul and Obi-Wan, where Obi-Wan, it's going to be one of those cliffhanger things where Maul gets away and Obi-Wan's like hanging off of a branch with a lava pit beneath him, and he gets out of it.
And maybe like what Maul sees, he is like, maybe there's a situation happens where it looks like Obi-Wan falls off a cliff or something, and he just assumes Obi-Wan died. Or,
exactly. It's gonna be something like that. Super cliche.
If they do something like that, man, I would be fine with it.
Yeah.
But it creates a problem because Obi-Wan and Yoda were on the down low very deliberately and very intentionally prior to A New Hope. Mm-hmm. They were not pushing boundaries in the Force to where the Sith would be able to detect them. And a full-out conflict with Maul again, but a full-on conflict with Maul out in the open, I feel like they would be able to detect that happening in the Force.
Yeah,
Palpatine, Vader, and the Inquisitors would pick up on that so much so they would be able to get a general direction and they would be able to find it.
I would argue that it would be more so, Maul, being the issue in that situation. But
maybe.
But yeah, no, I would argue though, because of the fact that he's honing his force skills so heavily, that's a big preventative factor of why he's not found.
Yeah.
With the Force Ghost actualization and all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think you're right. I think an all-out encounter between the two. I don't know, dude. I think that they should take that Twin Suns episode and just make it. They should decanon it.
No, they're not going to do that, dude.
I
And
know.
listen, I
I know
mean,
they're not, but they
yeah,
should.
it's like, and I like to entertain that idea too. I mean, I mention that all the time, like just dreaming about it not being canon. And a lot of people take issue with that because a lot of people do not see the issues with that scene. I mean, Ezra is so forced into that story, he's practically a tourist. I mean, he sticks out like a sore thumb, and he's given 2/3 of that episode just sticking around with Chopper, running around in the desert. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was absurd. I mean, when you start the episode off, you would not even expect that you're about to see the conclusion and the final encounter between two of the most iconic characters of the entire franchise.
Yeah.
I mean, it starts as off a very down low episode, and then 2/3 of it is very down low as he's just exploring the desert and hearing whispers from Maul. And I mean, it was just not good. The impersonal dialogue and the spiel about if you define yourself by your ability to dominate, to possess, then you have nothing. You know, just this impersonal dialogue. You wouldn't even be able to guess that this guy killed the only woman he ever loved and the only father he ever had.
Yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't even know. And that's not okay. To not even indirectly imply their past is nuts to me because this guy, Maul, I mean, this Wraith is in the night is coming back for him to take the last hope the galaxy may have after he already took the only two people he loved besides Anakin. This is no freak of the week like he was treated as in that episode.
The thing is with Maul, he has so much more impact than just the two people, that he loved. The order that he was aligned with for a long time, the one that he was introduced to Obi-Wan as part of, is the same order that completely corrupted, Obi-Wan's son, essentially, in the form of Anakin.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there are so many reasons why that interaction
And so it's just, I think a Disney Plus series would be so amazing if you have Obi-Wan dealing with the trauma from Revenge of the Sith, discovering Anakin survived, communicating with Qui-Gon and Yoda, learning to become a Force ghost, becoming this wiser Jedi and this being who's more at peace with himself through his deeper understanding of the Force that he gains over the following nearly 2 decades after Revenge of the Sith, and to then have Maul on top of that. I mean, that would have just made for the most solid Disney Plus series, but now they can't have that because of what they did in Rebels. You cannot have that final scene live action. You cannot have that final interaction with real actors on camera. I will, and that's a shame. That's really a shame because I don't care what anyone says. Even if they took the scene from Rebels as it is and adapted it live action, it would have been leaps and bounds ahead of what they animated. Full stop. You cannot deny that live action would have been better than the animated episode that they threw up on Disney XD.
Yeah, no, I'll agree
Granted,
with that.
I mean, hey man, I'm all for this idea. It should not be a movie at this point because you can't have the big overarching story with Maul anymore and and Maul's finale. You can't have Maul's conclusion. Because I think even if we did get an Obi-Wan movie, it should be one movie. The end.
If we get an Obi-Wan movie as well, I mean, I think it should be Clone War era. Something
and
that.
But if we did get an Obi-Wan movie, and let's say it is Maul, and it is them encountering each other just after Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
You can't end it. You can't end their story. You can't end their rivalry. So you have a singular movie that really can't have much of a conclusion.
Yeah.
Because it has to end in in season 3 episode 18 Twin Suns on Disney XD. I mean, yeah. So I am looking forward to whatever this is going to be. I'm glad that Ewan McGregor seems to finally be getting the chance. The Obi-Wan again. I really hope that it works out this time and this idea doesn't get scrapped because I mean this is obviously going to be the strongest Disney Plus series they're going to release besides Mandalorian. I don't care what anybody says. I mean, people are a lot more excited for this than the Cassian Andor show. I promise you that.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second, dude. Okay, we see Obi-Wan's death, right? We see Obi-Wan's death in episode 4, but is it really his death? One, is it really his death? No. And 2, he is such an important character in Star Wars. He is the mentor of the Chosen One, essentially the grandfather of Luke Skywalker, the man who brought balance to the Force very temporarily. But, Obi-Wan is one of the most important characters in all of Star Wars history. And you have Cassian Andor. Who? Oh, he was in that Rogue One movie, that standalone movie that came out and kind of left everybody's radar after it did.
And what a shame, because it is the best Disney Star Wars release thus far.
Oh, absolutely. By far. Yeah, 100%. But yeah, dude, I mean, with that being said, it's such a strange idea, in my opinion. Not a Boba Fett show. Not a Jango Fett show. If they want to do a light side person, you could do Wedge Antilles. You could do somebody like that. You know what I mean? But
right, like Marvel, for instance, in the movies, they started off with the heavy hitters. I mean, it's like, imagine if Marvel started off with a Hawkeye movie or a Scarlet Witch movie, and then eventually got to Iron Man and Captain America. That's kind of what Disney's doing with these shows. They're starting off with side characters instead of getting everybody,
But here's the thing, dude. If they
hungry for those characters.
Did a side character show would be a Poe Dameron show, and I prefer that to a Cassian Andor show.
I don't know about that, man, because I mean, I like Poe a lot, but I like Cassian more.
But what I'm saying, Ross, is in terms of franchise importance,
sure,
Cassian Andor fulfilled his role. His role was to mentor Jyn Erso to an extent, right? Kind of get her into the rebellion, and then die sending the Death Star plans to Leia to enact the entire franchise, essentially. Not the entire franchise, but the Civil War part of the franchise, the original trilogy.
Basically, like, they shouldn't be starting off with C-list characters in the Star Wars universe.
They shouldn't be doing them at all.
I wouldn't say at all. Just way further down the line,
Ross,
after they get through the heavy hitters first.
You could even think about it. You have Boba Fett, Jango Fett, Cad Bane. You have all the bounty hunters that you could make great crime thrillers out of, right? And then you have all resistance characters. You could do.
Dude, speaking of resistance.
Oh yeah,
almost forgot to mention that. Yeah. Season 2, they're done after that. That's canceled.
That's fun.
I'm sorry. That's a show that could have gone at least 4 to 5 seasons. They canceled that.
Bummer.
I mean, what I appreciate Disney doing with Rebels and Resistance now, because their first 2 animated shows have not worked out, it's at least Disney gave them the heads up. Like, this is not working. Wrap it. Dude, they cut it off at season 4, and there was still a year of stories to tell before Rogue One.
Oh, shit.
They had to expedite the ending for Rebels.
I didn't know that.
I imagine that was the case. On some level, that had to have been the case, because they still had a year before Rogue One when the show ended, in the timeline.
Yeah.
And,
dude, okay, the Star Wars universe... I'm sorry, I gotta rant for a little bit right here. I am so frustrated that Rebels, that the comics, and that the new Fallen Order game are all following the same story in the same time period about Jedis escaping from Inquisitors, right? That is just such bogus to me, because you have this massive universe, you have a massive batch of diverse characters. I want to see how Boba Fett transitions from being
a massive universe of forest, desert, and
fuck off. That's my one restraint.
Forest and desert world.
No, Ross, let me finish.
That is the Star Wars universe now.
Shut up. Practical effects. You can have BB-8 as a practical robot thing, but also use CGI to make compelling planets. You remember Jeddah? That was a desert, but it also had that big Agrabah sprawling town,
space city. Yeah.
Exactly. Then you have what was the asteroid planet that was all gloomy and rainy?
Oh yeah, and dude, the outpost in the beginning of Rogue One.
The outpost, all of that, dude.
Not practical enough.
But anyway, you have this big universe. I want to see how Boba Fett and other characters like that transition from Clone Wars era to Civil War era. Right? I don't want to just see new Jedi fleeing from Inquisitors anymore. It's getting so stale and old. I mean, they've really hit us over the head since Rebels released with comics and now the new game that's coming out, just with this time frame. Rogue One
Yeah,
as well. I mean, and Rogue One was better because it didn't focus on Jedi at all, right? I would have been fine, would have been completely fine if the comics had explored other things besides just Jedi running from Inquisitors. Because now we're starting to see the same thing with the era, the 40 years or so, whatever it is, between the original trilogy and the sequel trilogy.
Oh, dude, did you hear about the new canon Luke book that's coming up in November?
Yeah, I did, and I'm not looking forward
Luke's
to
point
it.
of view.
I'm
Why
not looking
not?
forward to it because I really think that they did a not so great job with Luke in Last Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
I think it should have been more of a compromise between the Luke we got and the Luke that's in Legends. I didn't like that it was one extreme because they didn't want to go to the other extreme.
I mean, dude, listen. I mean, not even going into how they handled Luke in The Last Jedi. I've just always wondered what Luke might have thought of the Clone Wars and all the characters we love so much that were, that were from the prior generation, the people that he never met. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm just excited because, I mean, in the book, it confirms that he absolutely knew of Ahsoka and did discover who Mace Windu and Ki-Adi-Mundi and all the members of the Council were and all those different things.
That's pretty
he discovered. Rad. He found all the info in the Clone Army, and so Luke knew of everything.
I hope.
That being said, and I'm just excited because the book just offers little statements from him.
That being said, I hope the book has a younger Luke that is more optimistic, right? One that's exploring these texts.
It's not a novel. Holocrons. It's just like a graphic shorter book that it's kind of like you ever see like the Book of Sith or like the book of the stuff like that.
I gotcha. Really but still, I want Luke to be a younger, more optimistic Luke discovering these things about the Jedi. I think that would be way better than a cynical Luke learning these things.
And that should be an animated series.
Yeah.
I still believe, dude. The two best options for a large scale animated series like the Clone Wars. You either go Old Republic, or you go right after Return of the Jedi.
Dude, oh my god, okay.
Because then at that point, you get good voice actors, Tate, and you can use Luke and Leia and Han and have it work without having to worry about recasting anyone.
Yeah, my dogs are going crazy. I'm sorry about that first and foremost. But... Okay, I think they're not done.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
Anyway, it is such a shame that we've gotten close to nothing pre-Phantom Menace in new canon. It is a crying shame. Okay, I'm gonna go deal with the dogs.
Okay. You want to mute? Yeah, that's probably a good idea. I actually thought it was gonna be me with the dogs barking because I had my uncle over just a little bit ago and our little puppy was barking for like a good straight hour, but she's actually conked out behind me right now, so it's pretty great. But yeah, so it's rough with the whole Luke situation because obviously you have 30 years that were created in between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. That is the largest time gap to exist between any point in the Star Wars universe, excluding the Old Republic. So that whole era is just so ripe with potential. And I think The Mandalorian is only going to just scratch the surface. Because if you just imagine everything they could... think of everything they explored during the Clone Wars. Just 3 years worth of material. And imagine everything they could explore. Dude, the next series should take place just after Return of the Jedi or just before the sequel trilogy. And you could have so much.
I want to see the rise. I want to see the rise of the First Order and the fall of the Republic. That's what I really want to see. And that's what I think. That's what I think they should have done. They should have done that error with the new game, with the Fallen Order game.
Yeah.
I think that would have been interesting.
Dude, it still bugs me that Fallen Order. I really hope they make Cal Kestis a very satisfying character because, I mean, as an active Jedi trying to bring the Order back and working with the Rebellion, to have him not meet Bail Organa or Mon Mothma, or at least hear of them, or at least hear of another light side user actively working with the Rebellion. Obviously referencing Ahsoka.
There are so many, man. I mean,
I'm just hoping they at least reference those major players. at that point in
I hope
time.
Ahsoka just shows up at the finale of the game and she's like, "Hey, time travel?" Question mark.
Yeah, she's like, "Hey, dumbass, ready for a sequel?" And you're like, "Oh shit."
No, you know what? I would love it, and I think Ross, we talked about this on the podcast, the Darth Vader scene at the end, like our little Darth Vader scene, where at the end it just says "survive" and you can't win the battle.
Yeah,
I'd love
it's not
something
gonna
like
happen.
that. No,
Because that is again, dude. That's the reality of what happened to Jedi. You know, and he's not. I don't think Cal's gonna really be anything special. He obviously wasn't anything special to have been able to start up the Jedi Order. You know, I think by the end of the game, he certainly will have tried, but
yeah, no.
ultimately, he should be just a Jedi that unfortunately did not survive and had to sacrifice himself or was taken out.
Yeah, so if you guys didn't see that episode where we talked about it, I'm just going to give you a brief overview of what Ross and I were discussing as the perfect finale for this game. Right? A game called, mind you, Fallen Order.
Yeah.
Imagine at the end of the game, you go up against Darth Vader. You know, you're killing Inquisitors left and right. You know, each planet you kill an Inquisitor boss, and then you go to the next one, because that's probably going to be the structure of the game. Then at the end of the game, you fight Darth Vader. And instead of winning, or instead of having an objective that says defeat Darth Vader, it says defeat Darth Vader. You get halfway through the fight, he does his little transformation, his fight transformation, a little cutscene. And then at the top of the screen, just like in Halo Reach, it just says survive.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing else for the mission. And you could survive for like an hour or two, but no matter what you do, you will always lose to Vader. And I think that would be such a compelling video game ending. And I think it would be perfect for this character because Cal Kestis means nothing to the Star Wars community. Means absolutely nothing. I don't want a trilogy with this character. I want one game in this time period, and then I want them to reuse the engine, reuse it's a Jedi with the colon, right? Reuse the Jedi with the colon, and make a game that's Knights of the Old Republic, a Clone Wars game, a pre-sequel game, a post-sequel game, something like that. As opposed to sticking with this character. I don't want 3 games in this time period that has been explored thoroughly through Rebels and the comic books, dude. It's getting really annoying that we're seeing the same stories over and over and over.
Yeah, no, dude. The original trilogy era has been oversaturated since Disney's acquisition. I mean, it's getting problematic. I mean, because
and you know what the most frustrating thing to me is that they're not even doing a good job with continuity. It's like, okay, it's a very short period of time, but random new technology is being phased in and phased out constantly. It is so annoying to me. As a person who enjoys continuity in franchises and in canons, right? Rogue One, the first time I watched it, I really disliked it. As a Star Wars fan, I said as a Star Wars movie, I gave it a C. Not a Star Wars movie, but as a Star Wars fan, I'm giving it a C, and as a movie fan, I'm giving it an A+, because I absolutely enjoyed that movie, but I thought all of the stuff that they added, and then that just did not connect at all to
the Death Troopers and the Shore Troopers and all that stuff.
The Death Troopers, the Shore Troopers, the U-Wings, all of the Imperial vehicles.
Yeah, it was... They broke canon there. They made a nice dash.
Same shit. They did the same shit in Solo.
Oh, even worse, almost.
I would argue, and they're not even giving us like in this Fallen Order game. It would have been the perfect opportunity to give us stormtroopers in clone armor. So we're fighting. Not only are we fighting stormtroopers, but we're fighting clones or in between
Yeah,
armor.
I mean, damn, it's starting to seem like they manufactured all the stormtrooper armor in a month and phased out all clone armor like it was barely a process.
Yeah, it's really just a complete bummer, man.
But yeah, dude. So Obi-Wan series, I'm really glad it's going to be on Disney Plus. That is the way to go. Not a movie at this point. But as for that new Disney set,
We're moving on with that.
Yeah, that's apparently coming out. I think, what did they say? August 21st and then September 1st. I think is the official release date or something.
Not sure.
I honestly wasn't paying attention. I don't plan on getting it, but this is another fantastic design by Marcos Besa. It's I mean, a really good set. I mean, obviously, it's only the front of the station. You don't get like a full track. And honestly, I feel like for $330, you at least should have gotten a full track. Because, oh my God, this set does look really great and is a very solid display piece. But obviously, the best part is that it's got the debut of Goofy
The Goofinator
in a
himself.
whole sequel video to my original Where's Goofy video on the channel. Ton of fun. Love doing that stuff. And we're still waiting on Pluto, but Goofy has finally arrived. His head is a little oversized, but that's okay.
That's
He looks
fine.
awesome, dude. And
Yeah.
honestly, I think that makes sense because they don't have any extended legs to use for him. So actually making his head a little bit bigger was probably the right call.
Yeah. He's so tall and skinny, man. Unnecessarily.
Yeah.
So I
And
think
so
this
that
is a
gives him
better
just a
call.
little more height above everybody else by making his head just a little too big.
Dude, I want Stinky Pete. That's who I want. I mean, even more than
But
Pluto.
But Tate, you haven't been to Disney World, so this is actually when you first go to Magic Kingdom, right at like security, you see this train station. You can go up into it,
Oh, they have the
and the
same
train
train.
station.
They have the same train in California, just not the station.
Okay, well, the
Yeah.
station is at Magic Kingdom, and so this one is pretty nostalgic for me. I love this. Obviously, I think it looks different actually at Disney World. If I'm not mistaken, I would have to check. Um,
The train? I'm pretty sure it's the
no,
same.
the station.
Oh yeah,
I'm
no,
pretty sure.
the station is definitely different. No, but the train itself.
Yeah,
No, the train's
the
not.
train itself is relatively similar
Speaking of
to the actual
Disneyland,
ride.
Galaxy's Edge opened up in Disney World, didn't it?
What's up?
Did Galaxy's Edge
No,
open? I thought it did.
it's opening at the end of the month.
No, dude, I thought it opened up. I saw a YouTube video. I watched it.
Oh, well, in California, and then in Orlando, there have been a lot of preview, a
Oh,
lot of preview access.
that's
People have
that's
been,
what it
yeah,
was. Yeah, that's what it was.
yeah. Like I mean, my buddy Sean and my buddy Corey and my buddy, actually, yeah, just those two guys,
Isn't it
all got
identical?
in for preview.
Is
I
it?
don't know.
Is that
I think
identical?
so.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think so.
pretty
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. And that's great, man. I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna be checking out the Disneyland Galaxy's Edge before I actually go back to Florida to see Galaxy's Edge down there. I don't even know when I'll do that because going to California in August 2020 are celebration. So that's going to be probably the first chance I'll get to check out Galaxy's Edge, and I'll be with you and
It'll be so
Andrew and my
sick.
buddy Eric, and we're gonna have the full squad, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the set looks awesome. I mean, another just incredible design by Marcos Base. I know you're not the biggest fan, Tate, but I mean,
It's fine.
even from the back, I think it looks great.
I think this would be such a great. I think this would be such a great holiday train set if you're that kind of family that
Oh yeah,
enjoys having a train around the Christmas tree.
absolutely. Dude, we've always loved having a train under the Christmas tree. We've never had a good one. So I mean, I'm not going to buy this because for only $20 more, you can get the actual Disney castle. And I'm sorry, this is no this. I mean, dude, Marcos Base, he designed the castle too, and I would highly recommend you buy his Disney castle before this because I mean, what would you go for, Tate? This or for $20 more, the whole freaking tall, giant Disney castle?
I'd go for the UCS Slave One actually, the one Lego set that I actually want.
Uh, yeah, that was a good one. Did they retire that recently?
I don't know.
I think they did.
I'm gonna get it eventually. I'll buy it used or something.
But I think this might be the first set to have classic Minnie, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe she appeared that way in the castle.
She appeared this way in the castle, and I believe the first minifigure series.
Definitely exclusive Mickey.
Chip and Dale as the conductors.
Mickey, Chip and Dale, and yeah, Goofy. By the way, the train station and the train are accurate to Magic Kingdom. They have it on the back of the box. I forgot.
Cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. They are accurate to the real deal. In real life, that's pretty awesome. I just checked. So scratch what I said earlier. These are designed to look just like the station and train at Magic Kingdom in Orlando. So that's awesome.
I'd absolutely love it if they did modular buildings based upon Disneyland, like
oh my god,
oh my god, I'm drawing a blank right now.
Yeah.
But gosh, what is the Main Street called? Is it just called Main Street?
Yeah.
Yeah, like those kind of buildings. Those Main Street USA. That's what it's called. That Main Street area. You could do the Paris area or the New Orleans area in Disneyland. I mean, I think modulars based upon those buildings would be really rad.
Dude, yeah. I mean, I would probably go for that, honestly. Like, I never got into the modulars myself. They're obviously all pretty expensive. I only ever got the Grand Emporium and kind of busted it down since. But Yeah, like actual minifig scale Main Street buildings would be great. I don't think they'd be profitable enough though, Tate, honestly.
Yeah.
So I don't think Lego would ever do that.
Yeah.
Um, that being said, man, the set looks awesome. Definitely not buying it. I mean, I'm going to buy the Millennium Falcon or the Disney Castle as my next UCS set before probably anything Disney is releasing in the near future.
Fair.
Only exception I made was that Stranger Things set, which I still never built. But that kind of brings us real quick to some leaked minifigure heads that I want to bring up. We don't have a slide for this because they were leaked.
Yeah, so we're just going to do this.
And I'll be totally honest with you guys. I know this frustrates some of you. I didn't read the rumors list for the upcoming sets. So I know we have the Hulk helicopter drop, and then like, what was it, like 3 or 4 other Avengers sets. We still don't fully know if. Yeah, we still don't fully know if they are going to be comics based or Endgame based sets. However, we do have a pretty great looking Cap head, which is pretty much Cap's head now printed onto a fleshy head. So you don't get the hair on the back, and you kind of, it's a little odd looking for the most part. But I mean, it's going to be a really solid head for Captain America if Lego plans on finally stopping the prints on the dark heads, because the super tan skin tone or the super light skin tone has never worked, and I think this is the better call. If you guys saw the leaks, you probably know what I'm talking about. You can probably find them on Instagram somewhere.
I saw your post about them, yeah.
Yeah, there's also a Hawkeye head in there from the comics.
Cool.
So that kind of drives a wedge in thinking that these are going to be Endgame related, which is kind of a shame. So it very well might only be the Hulk helicopter drop that we get for Endgame, but we'll see. And then you also have a new Anakin and Obi-Wan head.
Those are great, but the mouth...
The Anakin head is not as good as the previous version.
Okay,
the Obi-Wan head is a bit of a step up, though.
That Anakin head from I think it was 2012, where you had the green
13.
Interceptor with the little Mustafar platforms, and then you had the Office raid, the Chancellor Palpatine raid. That head that they used then still holds up today. What is that, 2013?
No, that was 2012.
2012. That's great.
2013 was when it was the version from Attack of the Clones without the headset and without the Sith eyes. So I mean, there's nothing really wrong with the Sith facial expression here, but I mean, the problem with the new Anakin and Obi-Wan head, it can be boiled down to literally like one thing, and it's the mouth. The mouths on the two of them are practically the same. There's no curvature to Obi-Wan's mouth. It's kind of odd looking. They're very basic, and they're too far down. I don't know why Lego let that slip with the design. That being said, I'm looking forward to it.
These could be so a lot of people have discarded prints, and that's how they get their leaks. So they could be discarded minifig heads. We don't know.
We'll see, man. I doubt it. I mean, they still, at the very least, the design seems pretty sound. However, this is apparently going to be similar to the Rey versus Kylo Ren Starkiller base set, where it's basically just a little desk buddy set inspired by the iconic moments from the film.
That's fun.
And so and I mean, that's great, man. I mean, a Battle of the Heroes desk buddy set, absolutely. Like, that's awesome. I will make room for that. I'm looking forward to it, and I'll definitely pick it up. And I think also in that array of heads, there was something else, or maybe that was it.
No, there was something at the end.
I'll have to pull it up here.
It was like a weird like gray tone face or something like that, though, wasn't it? Or maybe I'm thinking about something else.
I don't know, and I can't seem to pull it up. Those
are the important ones.
I'll go into my archive really quick. Was that it? Oh, and there was like some pilot head off to the right. That's all it was. Okay, good to know. So, yeah, man, seems great.
Oh yeah, Paul Seeley just posted them.
Oh, cool.
I think that the Obi-Wan angry expression looks good. I do.
Yeah, dude, it's just the mouths that are a little odd. However, that brings us to something that I did kind of randomly this past week. I was talking about SpongeBob. I forgot how I got on the topic.
Ross and I were talking about old shows, and he found out that SpongeBob is on Amazon Prime for free.
Oh yeah, and then the first 5 seasons are on Prime for free right now. And I recently, in my storage unit, found the first ever SpongeBob game that I played, which was SpongeBob SquarePants
Employee of the month.
Employee of the month from 2002, and this game, like, I mean, was unforgettable for me. I mean, this game, I remember every part of this game as I was rewatching it on YouTube, having finally found the name of it. The disc is unfortunately broken, but I had so many memories. I mean, this game in 2002 was like ahead of its time. I mean, it was nuts. It was just, for me, the defining SpongeBob game. I never got to play Battle for Bikini Bottom or the game that was inspired by the movie.
Yeah, Battle for Bikini
But
Bottom's the
dude,
best one.
I, I mean, I wouldn't know. I didn't play it,
Come
but
on, Ross.
that being said, that SpongeBob game had such a big impact on my childhood, and I loved it so much that I thought back to 2007 when I got the Krusty Krab, and I was like, man, do I miss that set? I busted it down. God, at least like 2009, 10. I mean, that set didn't last very long. And I was just thinking, like, man, I wonder how much that set goes for. And first of all, I was surprised to find that it was only $20 at retail in 2006 and 7. But then to find a pretty good price for a used one that somebody was selling on eBay, and I ordered that thing and it got here in like 2 or 3 days. And dude, I've got the Krusty Krab again. It's freaking great. And I posted a picture about it on Twitter, and I was just like, best TV series, one of the best Lego sets of all time. Changed my mind, and so far nobody has. And honestly, dude, I still stick to it. I still believe SpongeBob is the greatest TV series of all time. I'm not even joking. I mean, what a show. But yeah,
It is definitely, I'd say, the most inclusive and the most, I guess, how do I describe it? Loved by everyone, loved by the
dude,
masses.
SpongeBob. I mean, just defined a generation. That is everybody's favorite animated show. Like, if as far as just comedy and that kind of genre. Obviously, people bring up tons of other animated shows that they really enjoy. I could bring up the Clone Wars or Avatar, Last Airbender, any other variety of like anime shows that I know people hold close to their hearts. But SpongeBob just completely took the world by storm because it's so fantastic. But anyway, so I'm really happy to have that set back again. It's been like a decade, and so that's freaking awesome. However,
Oh, man.
makes me think of other themes. And speaking of Avatar: The Last Airbender, Tate, have you ever taken a look at the Avatar: Last Airbender sets, like
Yeah,
recently?
for the time, dude. They're not bad. For the time.
I mean, like I remember seeing them on store shelves as a kid. Never really having the money for them because they'd be anywhere from like $30 to $50 typically.
Yeah, but that
But these,
warship, dude, was not bad.
they were a solid. I mean, were there only two Avatar sets?
Yeah. There was the temple and then
No way.
the boat.
I swear there were at least four.
Dude, the boat holds up in my
There were only two Avatar sets.
Yeah.
Wow. And they had the animated style designs,
Animated.
which I think worked.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, yeah, like you don't need the Clone Wars was not good because they were trying to insert a 3D animated style design onto a minifigure, whereas with Avatar it was just 2D designs being printed on the heads. But dude, the little temple and the glider, I mean, oh
they need to release a UCS APA.
yeah, dude.
They need
That's what
to.
they should do. Like, just if they wanted to make a really solid, yeah, like a really solid, expensive, just a one-off Avatar set, dude, they should do a Hoppa at some point. Like, I guarantee that shit's gonna sell better than the freaking re-release of the Taj Mahal.
Yeah, that's such a strange thing that they did there.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I mean, some of these sets you can get for pretty good prices, used and opened and already built. I mean, sealed. The freaking original Krusty Krab was for like $100, but
Yeah.
yeah. So it's pretty awesome, man. Now, I mean, other themes that I kind of wish were brought back would be like Exoforce, because I was never really a Bionicles guy. But I always feel like
sick. Little mechs.
I always feel like I missed out on something by never owning at least one or two Exoforce sets.
There's like 20 of those though, so
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, they're just so cool, man. Some of them are really great. And the designs on the boxes were always so awesome. I don't know, Tate, like, were there any other themes that like you kind of missed that you
Well, I mean, we know my
I feel like
memories.
passed you by.
I got hit by the op.
Right.
And my memory got
But I
bopped.
mean, like, have you ever had to
But
look back?
no, I've had plenty of ganders, and I know we talked about this
Yeah.
last week, but I mean, agents and castle themes, man.
Yeah, even if there's no nostalgia attached, man, you look back at just so many other themes like um, Mars Mission, Power Miners,
Power Miners is sick.
Space Police. Oh my
I
God.
prefer agents to space police.
Yeah, so do I. But Space Police
They,
was so new and unique for that time, and it hit at just the right time too. Because I mean, so many of us in the early YouTube days were so thick in the Clone Wars scene that it was kind of refreshing to take a couple steps outside the bounds and buy some pirate sets, buy some Space Police sets, get some agent set. Just those exclusive, unique themes Lego was trying to push back then were really great. And I wish Lego were able to do more things like that now, and have them
yeah.
actually be successful. Because I feel like Lego can come up with better ideas than Chima and Nexo Knights. I mean, come on.
Dude, okay, here's the thing, Ross. The best theme Lego could possibly make now is a historical theme. All right?
That would be interesting.
You have a castle, and it could be just like City, structured the same as City. You have a castle lineup, you have a pirates lineup, you have, you could do feudal Japan, you could do, warring states China, you could do the Wild Wild West. If anybody gets that reference, then
I think they should do Wild West sets. That's a really good idea.
But I don't know.
But a
if they
limited
will.
run, those wouldn't sell. Those wouldn't sell well.
No, but they need to do some sort of historical thing because that allows them so much leeway, right?
Yeah.
You can, if your castle sets sell like shit, and you're making castle sets that are based off of European castle fantasy, you're just like, oh no, these 5 sets didn't sell well. Let's do pirates this time, right? And they don't have to sink money into theming specifically, not on their website. On the boxes could just have like, a random, maybe Baroque style font and border, and they could just put Lego through history or something like that. And I think it would work perfect.
Man, Lego's new site updates suck.
I don't like their new site update now.
Did you see the new updates?
Yeah, it was so much.
They divided the site in two, and that was already bad enough. But now you go into like the themes menu, and you don't have the little icons for each one anymore. It's just a freaking drop down. I mean, how boring.
Yeah, it's like brick
What a
set.
shame.
It looks like brick set, except this is Lego. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
they really screwed this up, didn't they? Wow. Lego's site was fine. They're fixing something that wasn't broken. What a shame.
Yeah. But yeah,
This is just not as good. It's fine.
Lego
but it's
through
not great.
history, Lego through history with all of the historical themes that they've had in the past. Perfect.
Yeah. Man, that Disney Castle is still a magnificent looking set. Oh my
Are you on the
god.
website right now?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of scrolling through the themes. I usually don't visit Lego, like the actual site, that much anymore.
I don't either.
I totally missed out on the August releases. Like, I didn't care enough to even. I haven't been to Target or like any stores this month like that. So,
What are they though? Yeah,
well, I mean, you've got like a couple really good ones. Actually, 3 really good ones for DC. You've got the Batcave Clayface Invasion, which is pretty freaking cool,
we
man.
covered these, man. We covered these.
Yeah, I mean, it's $100. I don't know if I'll ever get it. I might try at some point. But man, like the Batwing and the Riddler heist, I feel like is a must for that Commissioner Gordon and that
And the
car
Shazam,
and the Shazam. That Batmobile is a definite with the Joker. Like that
That's
just
a
looks like
no-brainer.
the
I remember that
ultimate. What a set, man!
It's only $20.
That looks
too, isn't it?
fantastic.
Or 30?
30. It's 30. That's
It's
okay.
still not bad.
And dude, the new Mr. Freeze set, that's so awesome because that's super solid for kids. $20, you get a really good Mr. Freeze, Batman, Robin, a nice couple vehicles. Like those are the small sets that were accessible to me as a kid that I would get that would really inspire me and keep me entertained for weeks on end.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just so awesome to see Lego finally releasing some good sets for DC because they've been kind of mediocre as of late.
Yeah.
Most
Most superhero things are, man.
I mean, yeah. Yeah.
God, dude, I just want them to bring fantasy medieval back, medieval fantasy, knights.
I mean, like as far as like the superhero sets go, dude. I mean, there have been some really solid ones like the Quinjet or the Sanctorum or the Far From Home sets. You still have the Thanos Ultimate Battle, which is still out there. The Spider Crawler is fantastic. I mean, it's like half of Lego superhero sets are great, and the other half are shit.
Yeah.
There's no in between.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude. So yes, I guess that's kind of it for themes that we kind of miss and Lego site updates, which kind of suck.
Their VIP program updates even worse.
Yeah, it's designed to confuse. So it's still there. Lego can still use it to incentivize purchases, but they're not going to make it easy to redeem those rewards.
Yeah, I just, oh my god, the old style was so unique to them that you spend money to make money, essentially.
Right.
It was perfect.
Yeah. So Tate, we started playing Minecraft again, dude.
Yeah, so, yeah, funnily enough, I mean, like I said was it last week or the week before? I don't remember, but I was saying that I wanted to start live streaming. So Ross and I just started playing Minecraft. We started streaming it. It's very, it's I don't know, it's not family friendly like the podcast or like the MGF
No, yeah, it's not family friendly, so I wouldn't watch
if you need
Tate's Minecraft streams without earphones in.
But yeah, we're playing Minecraft. The link is going to be in the description of this video.
Yeah, and I'm having a good time. It's probably the most solid survival world I've played on in a number of years.
Yeah, Ross and I, today would be our 4th day playing on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we pretty much have 4 days in, like 8 hours or so. And it's going really well. It's going really, really well. For now, it's going to be... Oh, sorry, Ross.
Oh, yeah, we've started building some really solid houses.
Yeah.
We accidentally got everybody in our village slaughtered by enemy villagers, so we're going to have to bring those guys back at some point soon, hopefully. We went to the Nether. We didn't get anything for the weakness potion, did we?
No, we did. We did. We got the blaze rods and the nether wart.
Oh, shit. Do we need anything else to bring them back?
No, we can bring them back, dude.
Oh, well, why wasn't that the first thing we did out of the Nether? You didn't say anything.
Well, I mean... Shoot, I need to make the brewing stand. I need to finish my house, but let me look up how to make a weakness potion.
Yeah, guys, if any of you here want to join us for our Minecraft streams, you can subscribe to Tate's channel. You can drop a link in the description, and it will be great. And sometimes I might post about it on the Instagram story.
Yep, and for right now, we are keeping things. Just, Ross and myself, we're keeping the server private, but Ross and I are talking about maybe opening it up to the audience.
It's a possibility.
It's a possibility.
It would be kind of like another thing on our plates, and so we're just kind of thinking like how we would be able to maintain that on a regular basis. But
hey,
if it's something that we can make work, dude, we're definitely open to the idea. Yeah.
But yeah, so stay tuned for that. And then Tim Sargent asks, "Will we be talking about Angel Has Fallen?" I don't think so, dude.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, man. Those are just mindless action movies with some solid performances. I'll probably go check it out if I remember. Is that out yet? I don't even know. Probably not.
I have no idea. And then Simon asks, "Will we have guests?" Simon, we're actually working on getting a very special guest for our first podcast guest. Ross just has to send a DM.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
We're not gonna spoil who, but Ross, please send that DM, bro. Please.
Yeah,
it'd be so awesome.
It's gonna happen.
And then other than that, I think we're gonna try to get some not only creators in the community, but some I guess people that we know that we're friends with. So I'm gonna see if Victor from Eclipse Graphics would come on for an episode and talk to us about his process there, and then maybe try to get Will Chapman and Dan Siskind on the podcast. I think that would be really fun to talk to them about their processes. And of course, with content creators as well. Content creators in the community that, Ross, you're friends with. I think that'd be fun. We mentioned Vu a couple weeks ago. I think that'd be awesome.
Oh, yeah. Andrew, maybe Figures, I'm sure, would be happy to come on. We've got, I'm sure, Aaron, LM9, would be happy to come on at some point. He's starting up a new semester, though, so it might be a little difficult.
Yeah.
But yeah, we definitely have opportunities for potential guests to come on. It's just a matter of scheduling.
Absolutely, yeah. And then with
And
that,
do we mean it when we say like the weeks have just been flying by?
right. Also,
So
also having guests on the podcast is difficult because of scheduling. Scheduling, my bad. So we might have to take guests. We might do the consistent Sunday episode as well as a guest episode midweek whenever they can do it. So like let's say we get Lab 9, right? That's somebody. Is
that's totally random, and
is-
that's probably not. I don't
Oh, I
know
thought
about
that's
that
who you
one.
just
but okay.
mentioned. I thought that's who you just mentioned. I completely blanked. Okay, let's say Victor from Eclipse Graphics, right? Let's say he says he can do Wednesday at 7 EST. Then that's when we would do the podcast, and then we'd also have that episode on Sunday. I'm sorry, you said LM9, not Lab 9. My bad.
Yeah.
My bad. I totally blanked. But yeah,
Um,
essentially there would be inconsistent episodes throughout the week with guests to help with scheduling.
Yeah, that's one possibility, or we very well might pre-record, and then that would just wind up being the podcast for that week.
Right, but I think it would be nice to have chat active so they can ask that person questions.
Sure.
And that's something that we talked about when we were discussing it yesterday. Tim says, would we consider Solid Brick? Sure. I mean, just whoever, M&R, Solid Brick, just kind of whoever we can talk to about doing something like this. But, I mean, it's very much in development. Very much in development right now.
But anyway,
Ross
on
just
that
has to send
note-
that DM. Ross, you better send that DM to you know who.
maybe
you know
we'll do
how
it right
awesome that
now,
would be?
Tate.
Okay,
we'll end
perfect.
the show. We'll do it right now.
All right.
So on that note, everybody who's been with us for this podcast, episode 21, thank you for joining us. Lego P3, Rocksteady, Tim Sargent, Ian, Awesome Gamer, X, J Fortnite, Spaceman Customs, all of you guys. Simon, thank you so much. And until next time, that's it. We're done. Goodbye.
Yeah, we are inevitable. Thank you guys so much for watching.